Good morning, everyone. November the 24th, 2015. Time to kick off another trading day. We awakened this morning to the news that Turkey has shot down a Russian aircraft that was flying over it. Just a little tiny, as the Russian airplanes are race tracking up there, a little tip of Turkey. And I shut down a Russian fighter. This is serious, and it's the problem that I pointed out. How are the United States and Russia going to interface? Erdogan is in trouble in his country. You start a war, you whip something up. It's easy to stay in power that way, but I don't think anything is going to happen. I think it will be contained, but the problem is Turkey, for reasons that escape most people these days, is still a member of NATO. And if a NATO member is attacked, NATO has to respond. Stocks were sold, treasuries were bought off that news. And that's where we find ourselves this morning. So I'm sure the phone lines between Russia, the European Union, NATO, and the United States are almost melting today after that fact. So that's the big factor hanging over the market. You never know how wars are going to start. World War I, an assassination in Hungary, not in the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the Habsburgs. Pretty obviously, Poland is invaded by Germany. That's after Czechoslovakia and other places were taken by Germany. The United States does not formally enter that war until we're attacked by Japan. So risk-off investments gain favor under these uncertainty from traders, not necessarily investors. Investors will sit back and look what's happened. Risk-on investments are sold by traders, and that's where we find ourselves right now. So hard to say how it spills out, but I don't think anybody thinks we go to war over this. But you never know when you get into this. You start stirring stuff up. Look at what's going on in the South China Sea right now. So GDP is supposed to be revised up to plus 2.1. That's a number that could change the trading today. The deflator at 1.2. If you rent, buy food, not gasoline anymore, but hard to believe that we're not seeing. I mean, I see inflation in everything. Batteries, anything that you buy out there is more expensive than it was last year, at least in Wichita. Trade balance, minus 62B. That number could come in smaller than that. Don't think it changes any of the trading. Corporate profits, they were 8.5% last quarter. Don't know what it's going to be this time. Probably less than forecast, but you don't know. That will be for the long-term players, will not impact the trading. Case-Shiller plus 0.3, that will not impact the trading. We're seeing signs that real estate is priced as topped in San Francisco. Next big number, consumer confidence at 99.6. Richmond Fed, I've seen plus or minus 1. Counter day has it at 1. And then the 5-year auction. Now, short end up, 2 and 3 years, that's the way it's normally played. Intermediate term down. Third auction equal to higher to move the papers. So if we can't get through the 2704 area today, I think we have a good chance of trading back down. So selling failure to take out 4 to 8, so 3 to 7 will be sell 1, 11 to 15 will be sell 2. You can see before the news hit about Turkey that we were capped below 127. 21 to 25 buy 1. I'm going to put a question mark right here at 28. A lot of it just depends if the E-mini continues to sell or not. And then 13 to 17 for buy 2. News focus, GDP consumer confidence, subject to interruptions about what went on in Turkey. And news spikes could be, we should anticipate them. But we have, the lack of seriousness and the lack of, there's just so much that is missing. I mean, even if you didn't believe the State Department before, we had some people that could say the right things and do the right things, and it's hard to see that happening right now with this group that's in control here and in other places in the world. We do live in interesting times. Okay, last rotate up was 17. We've got a double high at 24, so 19 to 23 is sell 1. Then 31 to 03 is sell 2. For the 30-year, the buy side we have London's low at 5, so 1 to 5 because of the knob spread, and that usually expands during auctions. Buy 1, and then 21 to 25, buy 2. Gold did find buyers. We had a higher at opening, and it held for 3 tests in Globex, and you can see the extension came in London off the Turkish news. We are at resistance right now, so at this high right here, so maybe stops above the overnight session high. 78 to 80, sell 1. 84, 86, sell 2. On the buy side, London's low is 70, so 69 to 71, buy 1. And then 66, 64, buy 2. Again, the markets are all subject to surprises on this Turkish-Russian deal. And Turkey had been warning them before not to fly into their airspace, and Turkey certainly has the right to take, on paper, the action that they did take. Common sense might dictate a little better solution. But you don't know what the motives or intentions are. Erdogan is in trouble in his own country. People aren't too. I mean, just recently got reelected. They don't know. Nobody really came out and said by hook or crook, but he did get reelected. Most people feel that it was rigged, but I mean, again, you don't know when you get in that part of the world. So we see support at 106 even, 106.25, and I got resistance 106.75 to 107, and that's the way that we'll play the euro today. You can just hear the ministers at NATO trying to wiggle their way out of this one. You know how Turkey is a NATO member. If they're attacked, we're obligated to go to their support. How can we change that deal? And Turkey has not been since Erdogan has taken over, they have not been a good neighbor for NATO. They've screwed a lot of different people in and around their area. They've been pretty nationalistic. They use NATO as a crutch, so they have created a lot of ill will, is my point. And they might get some of that back. Okay, looking at crude. Crude's up. I don't think anything has really escalated supply-wise. Stops above the overnight session high, so 42, 75, 43, sell 1. Then 43 and a quarter, 43.50, sell 2. On the buy side, 41.75, 42, buy 1. And 41 and a quarter, buy 2. But crude normally on a situation like this would be $3-4 up. And that shows you how much supply is actually out there. Nobody is really too worried about the short term. And Syria is not a player of size in the crude oil market. Okay, the first reaction to this news in the E-mini was to sell. Well, we get follow-through selling today. The tendency is to rally up in lieu of news into a Thanksgiving close and then that Friday. A lot of people will not be playing on Friday. Some bets will be placed on the strength of I forgot my thought. I saw what Earl wrote up there and he completely wiped my slate clean. Thanks, Earl. You have that effect on me with your pictures of the sunsets. You just stopped me in my tracks. So you did it again. Okay, the E-mini, will it break today or not? This breakout area came out of the 65 area. It has held so far. We are pointed lower. Resistance is in the 75 area, so 75 to 80 is where you'd expect us to have sellers, and then 85 to 90 would be sell 2. The tendencies for this market to trade up into Thanksgiving and to trade sideways to higher on Friday as traders take positions on the idea that better than expected sales the day after Thanksgiving. With Black Friday starting on, really 2 weekends ago, or maybe even 3 weekends ago, it probably have less import than it has been. So 66, 64, that's our first little band of support, buy 1. Last rotate down stopped at 60. We've got this E period low at 55, so we'll make 55.60 for buy 2. Quick review of the news. GDP higher than last month. I think it was 1.5 or 1.7, 2.1. That will be the news focus. Deflator, no one will pay any attention to. We have no inflation. Plus 1.2. Trade balance minus 62B. It's a huge number. Normally it's in the 40s. Corporate profits, don't know. Last quarter it was 8.5. I would guess it would come in lower. Consumer confidence, 99.6. Richmond Fed, plus 1. Focus, GDP, then consumer confidence. It'll take a bit to get everything up and posted. I'm going to get busy on that. I will be back with you as soon as possible.